Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. But, of course, this isn't any ordinary episode like I've just referred to. This is actually the 300th episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Yes, 300 times that I have been doing this, discussing with you all with some of the latest and craziest news related to animation, entertainment, and so much more. I cannot believe that I even made it to this milestone, but hey, I am so glad that you all have been joining me on this journey. So here's to 300, and here's to 300 more. And for this special occasion, I wanted to go and find a special guest star to come in and join me on these discussions, especially with the fact that this has been a major week in terms of animation news, not only with a whole bunch of trailers, but also in terms of the news that has been coming out, especially with the Annecy International Animation Film Festival going on in France. However, the special guest that I had unfortunately wasn't able to make it because of personal issues, and don't worry though, they didn't bail out on me completely. Hopefully in a future episode, they will be joining me soon. But in the meantime, I did find someone else who is the next best thing and definitely a perfect fit for this episode, considering about what we shall be discussing. So please welcome back to AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, everyone, PaleoSteno. Paleo, what's up, dude?
Hello. 300 is a lot.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing this for several years and not just nonstop. Honestly, like, I don't know what's crazier, the podcast or me just keep on going with this whole dang thing.
Yeah, was it almost 6 years?
Yeah, I think almost 6 years, because I did start back in 2018, actually. So that would actually make it 6 years.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But anyways, we do have a big episode. So, Paleo, also, I just want to say, like, thank you immediately. Oh, we got a new fish. Thank you, Endwalker. But anyways, Paleo, I know we got a big week and like a lot of major news going on, and I want to thank you for joining me at the last minute. It hasn't even been an hour since I actually asked you if you could come in, but no, I'm glad that you could come in. So are you ready for the stories that we have in store? Are you ready for joining me on this 300th adventure?
Oh yeah, I'm very ready, especially with the topics that we're going to be talking about today.
Oh, absolutely. And also, I'd like to add, chat wall, are you ready for joining us on this 300th special? Let me hear it, folks. Are you ready? Let's see now. Yes? Oh, definitely. Definitely. We see people are prepared. That's wonderful to see. And so, with that said, it is now time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that we have today, Paleo, you remember last week when Netflix put out like the abundance of big name news that actually came out, like in terms of the future of animation on Netflix, with what's going to be coming up for the rest of the year and for 2025 as well?
Yeah, I do. And there's a lot of stuff that was announced with that.
Yeah, do you have any personal highlights during that time? Like, what are you the most excited for?
Nothing in particular, really. I know that, like, something that actually recently released that I still need to watch is, the Ultraman movie. That's just, like, a real recent release, though.
Yeah, it released during this weekend. Like, everybody was paying attention to Inside Out 2, but I will admit, like, me as well, like, this week I gotta get to work to watch Ultraman Rising, so that I gotta get prepared for that review.
Yeah. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned the Wallace and Gromit thing. Is that Netflix?
Yep, that's gonna be Netflix.
That? Oh.
No. Well,
okay.
they're gonna be...
that's definitely something I'm excited for then.
Oh yeah, definitely. But there is one thing that they kind of glanced over but didn't really mention, but that is Until Recently, in which they gave it a proper introduction on its own. So let's go and begin by checking out our first trailer, as we are going to be taking a look at the teaser trailer for Season 2 of Arcane. And that is Arcane Season 2, to which the season and, well, the end of the series, surprisingly enough, is going to be coming out this November. So, Paleo, I would like to ask you, you're familiar with Arcane, right? You've seen the show?
Yeah, I've seen the show. I've only watched through it once, but funny enough, I did play a bit of League of Legends back in the day, but, like, that was, like, early, like before like even Jinx was a character. So, but Arcane, like, yeah, I enjoyed the show, and I particularly like. I just really like the aesthetic of the show. It looks incredible. Like, just rewatching that trailer there, like, just the stylization of everything just looks very, very good.
No, the animation, I'll have to say, like, it's been a little while since I've seen the first season of Arcane, but like, I remember it was absolutely epic, and like rewatching that animation come to life, it's kind of like a refresher as to how the first season of it was so highly praised, and it noticeably so, especially with the fact that it is the kind of style that is, of course, very reminiscent to what we've seen with Spider-Verse, but manages to capture it well in its own way, in its own style. And and like, even with the trailer that we got, like, they managed to do so beautifully, especially when presenting a lot of the action scenes, and especially like at that like the ending fight, like where you see the two sisters, including Jinx, like they were gonna go at it against each other. Like, already just watching this teaser trailer alone just feels massively exhilarating.
Yeah, I love all the like the 2D particle effects too in the show.
Yeah, that is true. And we even do get a little bit of that. Like, the 2D elements feel like they do stand out. Like, there was the scene that I'm showing over here where there's like this giant statue, like the fog that's just coming out of its mouth, that you see, like, it's a bit like almost like low frame 2D that is showing up. Like it is the kind that knows how to mix mix a lot of like different animation mediums in order to get like a great effect. Even like during these moments, like with all the lighting and stuff, like that is fantastic already. So like visually, for sure, it is pleasing so far. Just out of curiosity, is there anything, like, if you could recall, like like the story of it, anything that you would like to see narratively get resolved, or see, like, what would be the way that they could go and like really conclude Arcane in general, considering this isn't just the second season, but it's also the fact that it is the final season?
Yeah, I do wonder what they're going to do with the two sisters, and like I'm not sure if like everything's just going to be like remain unresolved between the two. Considering the character that Jinx is. Like, she kind of has to go through all that trauma, and you saw that in like the last couple episodes of the first season.
Oh yeah, that is true. Oh god, yeah, that thing. Yeah, but you know, I will say that it is kind of funny that Netflix is going to be bringing this out, yet at the same time, like there have been some of the controversies related to, well, not controversy, but like a lot of, well, to put it nicely, discussions online related to the Acolytes that has a bit of a similar plot line to what we are seeing here, especially with the two leads being sisters, and now like they're on opposite ends and like they have to inevitably fight each other. So do you think, like, in a way, with what they're pulling off here with Arcane Season 2, like, is it a little bit like as a response to what Disney is currently doing with the Acolytes?
I don't think so. I think it's just like a big coincidence, like, because I'm pretty sure like these went into production like a lot earlier.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah.
Yeah, that is fair. I like it's just like the coincidence that I just see, especially like with all the discussion, the mixed discussions with the Acolytes, and then we see this and see the two sisters fighting. But like you're definitely right. Like probably this has been in production for a while. They've planned, this is all premeditated before without knowing what the Acolytes is about. But it's just kind of a funny notice that we are seeing right over here, like especially with this big battle that they are promising us with Jinx and wait, is it Vi or V again? I'm trying to remember, or is it, or like, do you recall?
I forgot, but it's funny because like both like V, there's also like another character that I know that is spelled the exact same way, but it's from Bug Fables, and she's a B.
Someone mentioned it's pronounced Vi. Okay, it's Vi.
Yeah.
Ah, I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense now. No, but so far I will say with what they are showing in the teaser trailer, I mean, it's pretty much promising us exactly what we are hoping for with Arcane. It's pretty much the grand return of like one of the most beloved animated series on Netflix, and the fact that they are getting into this big grand finale, promising us with a lot of fights, and the animation is still as beautiful as ever. So yeah, I think
do we know how many episodes?
I'm not sure, honestly. My guess would probably be the same amount as last time. I don't like, Chadwell, you could correct me on this, but, I don't know if they said there's a specific number, but, I don't know. I'm guessing maybe 9 or 10. We'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, though, I'm sure that for fans of the first season, they'll definitely be hyped for this one. I mean, they're already initially giving us what we'd love to see from Arcane. So we will only truly know how things are going to be with the second season of Arcane when that's going to be coming out this November. And with that said, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, what did you all think about the trailer for Arcane Season 2? Are you hyped up for this? And, or have any questions related to what we have just seen? And also, if you are a fan of the first Arcane season, I would love to hear your thoughts about the about the teaser for the second season. And might as well also go and do a little bit of a poll. So I'm just going to go and ask that immediately. So I will ask, will you be watching Season 2 of Arcane? So I'll go and ask yes, and then I'll go ask no. So let's see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Service error? Okay, this is kind of new. Why a service error?
Service error?
Yeah, for some reason it's not. For some reason, Twitch is not letting me do a poll. It's giving me a weird service error.
Yeah, that's weird. Sometimes I have to like refresh the dashboard. And then
okay.
Things will work.
Here, maybe. Here, I'll just refresh the page. Let's see. I'll just go and put that in. Just rewrite a few stuff. Hopefully it will do it. Okay, at least we're getting progress. At least it's something. It's not rejecting it immediately. Oh, okay, no, it's rejecting it immediately. Well, crap. All right, sorry about that, folks. I don't know if I can make any polls, but anyways, let's go back into the chat wall. Let's see what you all have to say about this. Anyways, the trailer is awesome. I really love the first season of Arcane, despite the fact that I am not familiar with League of Legends myself, but it looks great. The animation is just as gorgeous as ever, and the action scenes are awesome. So overall, I'm hyped to see the conclusion. Also, it's really great that G-Kids is releasing the first season on 4K and Blu-ray. Ah, yes, that's actually going to be a thing. I think I did mention that on the last episode, but yes, pretty soon we will actually have a physical copy of the first season of Arcane, so definitely good on G-Kids to actually provide us with that. Let's see what else we have. Oh, here we go. I haven't finished season 1 yet, but so far, what I saw was absolutely amazing and easily one of the best looking shows out there. I did play some League of Legends before, so I'm familiar with the source material. My favorite thing about the show was definitely Ella Purnell's voice performance as Jinx. I have a massive crush on Ella, and she's one of the only celebrity crushes I've ever met. Yeah, well, what do you know? She is going to be making her big comeback with this, so hey, at least you'll have more reasons to have a crush later, at the end of the year, of course. Anyways, I watched like a few episodes of Arcane from the first season, but I never watched the entire series because I didn't have the right time to watch it, and obviously I was never a fan of League of Legends. But I did enjoy the eye-catching animation, the intense action scenes, and the theme song Enemy played by Imagine Dragons. And the second season of this trailer got me curious, so don't send me any spoilers or any context regarding what happened in the first season. Don't worry, we will do our best not to do that, especially with the fact that I don't really remember what happened right at the end. So at least you got that covered. Let's see, what else do we have here? Arcane Season 2 is the one show I'll definitely hype the most when it comes out on Netflix, even though I am saddened this will be the last season altogether. It does promise well with the action scenes, on top of the stunning animation and the resolution between Vi and Jinx, so I definitely can't wait for this to come out. Alright, very nice. Any other comments? I'll go with this one. God, I haven't seen the first season, but this looks badass as all get out, man. My sister has Arcane on the list of shows for our Saturday show nights. Like, I don't know what this show is about, but this is gorgeous to look at. Honestly, I hope for more stylized stuff like this and Spider-Verse. Just so much energy and aggression and stuff happening. Oh, absolutely. And even in the trailer, what we have seen, like, they definitely delivered on that. They were just going, like, one after another with, like, action after action and showing, like, a variety of characters and their abilities. So, once again, if you are excited, there have been a couple more comments, so just need to go and read those, because I know, like, there hasn't been a lot that popped out, but here, let me go and read this. Anyways, okay. Anyways, I'll say this actually does look pretty good. The animation does look very Spider-Verse inspired, and it does look appealing. I've never seen the series, though, or whatever it was based on, but I'll give it a watch once I have Netflix again someday. Also, I don't blame you with the Twitch issues. I still have problems trying to log in earlier, so it's not letting me on my computer. If it was on the poll, I say yes. Yeah, okay, so maybe it is a problem with Twitch. Maybe that's having some issues lately. Oh, well. For me, personally, Enemy by Imagine Dragons was the reason I put off watching Arcane for so long, purely because I just had to hear it everywhere. I do plan to try and finish Season 1 before Season 2 comes out. Alright, that's fair. Well, at the very least, you still got plenty of time for it, as Arcane Season 2 is going to be coming to Netflix this November. So anyways, we are going to go on to our first break, and when we do return, we have another trailer in which we are going to go and check out. But this time around, not only will it be a full trailer, but it's going to be a second trailer. One in which we have already discussed about, but now, well, let's just say we're going to have a lot more to go and talk about this, especially with the additional characters that have been talking there. So stay tuned for that. And we're back. And for our next trailer that we're going to check out, Paleo, before we get into this one, may I just ask you, what did you think about the first trailer that we got of The Wild Robot?
I really enjoyed it. I love the stylization of it. I like the direction that they were kind of hinting at with it, but then they showed like the voices for or the actors and everything. I was like, wait, but that's not kind of what they were hinting at with that first trailer. So I didn't know like what direction it was going in. So this trailer shows us the direction.
Yeah, like this pretty much gives us a little bit more of an idea. Like the first one, I think it is safe to say it blew everybody away. Like it immediately placed itself as one of the most anticipated movies of the year, let alone one of the most anticipated animated movies. But now with the second trailer, let's see how the hype will go, if it still remains or if it would go down. But either way, let's try to figure that out as we check out the second trailer of DreamWorks' upcoming animated feature, The Wild Robot. And that is the second trailer of The Wild Robot, to which the movie shall be coming soon to theaters on September 27th. And Paleo, what did you think about what we have just seen?
I'm really liking it. As far as like everything we saw, that they're loving the colors, that the color palette they're using for the film looks very good. Definitely gives that wild vibe.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, when they reveal like voices, I was like, wait, how are they gonna have like the robot like talk to the animals? And they had that little scene in there in the trailer where it's like the robot's just kind of like learning the animal language. So that makes sense. There's also like a lot of like the way certain animals look. There's like one scene where like the duck that the robot is raising like is being like chased by this like giant fish with these big teeth. I was like, whoa, that that looks really cool. But yeah, I'm very curious as to like what this like mysterious like corporation is that makes these robots. And like how far in the future this is, as far as like, and like what kind of future is this? Whereas like there's still like these like wildlife around, but they have like helper robots for humans, I guess. So I'm very interested in this movie.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that with this trailer, I have kind of seen some mixed reactions. I mean, of course, like personally, I find that so far there's a lot of what they are showing here is phenomenal. Like, of course, with the animation, like you mentioned, has a very natural color palette, and like the colors really do pop out, and even features this style that's a little bit reminiscent to something like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So already stylistically, it looks absolutely gorgeous. But then there is a factor about the animals talking, and this is where I've seen some people feel pretty divided. Like some people, they are on board with it, but I've also seen some comments where people are saying that they're kind of turned off by the talking animals. And I will admit that I'm not going to say that it is a turnoff for me, but I do see where it is a little bit of a concern, because one of the criticisms that I do have here is the comedy. And I feel like whenever it tries to be funny, it feels like it's just going with like the typical tropes that you would, like the typical slapstick and gags that you would find in kids' films, like the reaction of the duck like screaming when he first sees the robot. Or like there's even the moment with the fox decided to like drop kick the duck in order to teach
I
it
thought
to
that was
swim.
funny though.
Yeah, I'll admit, like I did laugh a bit when I first saw it, but I do see like the criticisms with the talking animals, because it's not just the fact that they would talk. Like that's one thing, and I do like that the movie does have an explanation, like you've mentioned, where we do know why these animals are talking, and it makes sense with like the robot understanding the language more and more. But one thing for me that kind of feels confusing is that suddenly, like, these animals, they're not just like they don't just talk. Like, suddenly they become anthropomorphized. Like, they kind of turn into cartoon characters in a way. And that for me is a little bit of a concern. And I get it. There is a part of it where it wants to try to put, to be more appealing to kids. But that's the thing for me that I feel like might be a bit iffy, and there needs to be a bit of a careful balance. Like, if it wants to go and implement some comedy to do some lighthearted humor, then go for it. I think, like, there is a way that you can make it work out, because it looks like this thing is following the same footsteps as WALL-E, and it's managing to really work out based on what we are seeing with these trailers. But so far, with some of these gags that we've gotten, like, yeah, some are okay, but then there are others that's like, they feel out of place for the kind of movie that it's trying to be, where it really wants to emphasize on the heart and on the storytelling and the bond that the robot has with all these animals. It feels like an element that might not be as strong as what the original book would go and deliver. So that's honestly my one criticism and concern that we would have in this. Anything else that you want to go and add also?
Man, I had something that I was gonna say. But like, yeah, as far as like, because I think a lot of people were hoping that like, oh, DreamWorks is gonna do like a movie with no dialogue, like we've had seen with like some like independent films, and like, you know, with sort of like the first half of WALL-E, which is not quite no dialogue, but like, you know, it's very little. But because like with recent, like, you know, critically acclaimed films like Robot Dreams, that's a film with no dialogue, and it's super good. So I think people are kind of hoping for like a big mainstream studio animated film to have like a film with no dialogue, but yeah, that was just kind of their disappointment with the second trailer. So I think that's why everybody's so divisive about it.
Yeah, that is true. Like, we're hoping that, yeah, like, it would be an extremely bold move, especially from a mainstream animation studio that would just put out a movie and just have little to no dialogue. Even if it would be something like WALL-E, where, like, we saw, like, in the beginning, there are some humans that are attached to this. You know, this ain't necessarily a post-apocalyptic future, but like, we do see there are some people, and I mean, it would make sense if we hear the robot talk from time to time. But then suddenly when you add in the animals, and suddenly they would talk, and suddenly it's like, oh, it's one of those movies. Like, suddenly we find ourselves in the talking animal route. But there might still be some hope for it, especially with the fact that considering last week it was the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, and I already did mention to you, Paleo, but there was a 30-minute screening showing the first 30 minutes of The Wild Robot, and people were going crazy. Like, the people who attended there, they saw that 30 minutes, and they gave it a massive standing ovation. I think they even said that they gave it 2 standing ovations for what they have shown. So who knows? Maybe there is more to it that we will be seeing in The Wild Robot. Maybe there is actually a lot more to it that, you know, they'll explain a few more things, but we will see. But so far, it is heading towards a pretty strong direction. I know with that second trailer, like, yeah, there are some things that might be iffy. People might have some criticisms about it, and there are some ways that I do understand where they're coming from, and there are some things that do feel like they might be a little bit out of place. But so far, with the elements that they have introduced, it is like like when it does something right, it looks very promising. So ultimately, we'll see how this will go. And I mean, I'm hoping for the best for it, and who knows? Maybe this will become like a major highlight, or maybe it might not meet those expectations, but we'll see. Ultimately, we're just gonna have to take a guess, and we'll wait until the movie comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're still very much hyped for this one.
Yeah, I'm hyped for it. It's probably my most anticipated animated film of the year. I can't think of anything else other than Inside Out 2, which we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, a little bit later. Yeah. For me, I will say, I'm I wouldn't say I'm immediately like very hyped up for it, but it does look like something that I'm absolutely gonna be keeping an eye out for. I'm going to see how this is gonna be. I might be a little bit more cautious than you are about it, to see there might be some things where it might mess up, but so far, at least in terms of what they are delivering, in terms of the animation and even the world building, and not to mention the action as well. There have been some like small moments where we see some action scenes occur. So
yeah,
honestly, that's the parts that I feel like I am excited for, and I think it will absolutely deliver. So ultimately, we will see when this movie does come out on September 27th. And with that said, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and I like to ask you all, what did you all think about the second trailer of The Wild Robot? Are you guys absolutely hyped up for this movie? Are there some things that have been disappointing to you? Let me know what you all think about this. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, it's cliche, but God, is it cute too. The robot just adopts the island forest as their home and takes care of a baby ducky. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters, but definitely streaming. As for the animal language thing, I know the reason it exists so that they can have celebrity voices, but animal sounds isn't necessarily the equivalent of human speech, so that translation doesn't work. I get the appeal of talking animals and speaking to animals, but something different. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I guess in a way, I could see how there's something about it that wouldn't necessarily make sense, but I guess it's more for the universal comprehension for everyone. I think it's just DreamWorks is not ready to be that bold to go and make a fully silent picture, so that's why they got to have the animals talk. They got to bring in those celebrity voices. So it's more like a step that they're not that ready to go and fully take, and this is a way to go and compensate for that.
You got to make the robot like Eliza Thornberry.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Just turn her into Eliza Thornberry. Or the funny thing is that very coincidentally, with this trailer, I look into the recommendations, the first one they put, it's a clip from the Robert Downey Jr. Doolittle movie. So it's kind so yeah, no joke. So I think even Universal is saying well, if you like The Wild Robot, then maybe you'll enjoy Doolittle too. Please go and watch it. We still need to make our money back from that film. All right, let's see what other comments we got. The new trailer really looks impressive. This definitely has potential to be one of DreamWorks' best and most unique movies in recent years. It's visually beautiful, and the story seems very interesting. And personally, while I could see your criticisms with the talking animals, it doesn't bother me all that much. So overall, I'm looking forward to this, and could be another great addition to Chris Sanders' lineup. All right, fair enough. I understand. I'll just say, if the talking animals thing doesn't bother you at all, then honestly, you're gonna be most likely to get on board and love this movie, because I feel like the talking animals thing is the biggest obstacle. If you can overcome that and just see the movie as is, then you're not just gonna enjoy it. You'll see something special in this. All right, let's see now. My thoughts on the trailer is that it is really promising. The art style and animation is so beautiful. The painterly style fits for the theme of nature. It has a lot of heart, especially where she has to learn about being a mother. It's kind of like Bambi, Iron Giant, and WALL-E mixed together. Hopefully the dialogue doesn't ruin the film. We don't want to enter into Walking with Dinosaurs territory. Overall, I'm looking forward in this film. Oh, God. Oh, you probably know what he's talking about. That infamous 2013 movie. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
It killed the franchise.
Oh my God, it did. The dialogue is horrible. Like, oh God, it was the worst. I hated it.
There are a couple of other cuts of the movie. There's the Cretaceous cut, and apparently there's also the Prehistoric Planet cut, which I didn't know about. And apparently that's like the best cut of the movie, whereas like it replaces all the dialogue with like narration.
Did it actually help?
I haven't actually seen it. Those cuts of the movie. So, but speaking of Walking with Dinosaurs, they actually did recently announce that like, oh yeah, we're making a new Walking with Dinosaurs next year.
Yeah, I did
like
hear
a new documentary series. Yeah.
Yeah, I think after what we saw with that film, it needs a reboot. Like, I would even say an emergency reboot.
Yeah, especially after Prehistoric Planet that happened last year and the year before, with how good like the dinosaurs look in those documentary series. Like, I'm excited to see what like the returning people for Walking with Dinosaurs make.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah, it's like Prehistoric Planet kind of like rebooted that idea, and now suddenly dino documentaries are like making a slow comeback. So now we're suddenly having Walking with Dinosaurs return. So I mean, I'm sure for you that's just a big win.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what other comments that we have here. Let me just double check. I don't think I've read that one. No, I did read that one, sorry. To be honest, I didn't watch this trailer as I didn't want to spoil too much, especially with how studios give away everything nowadays, and I'm only hearing just dialogue and voice acting. So far, I'm not a fan of the comedy or just hearing the voices of celebrities either. I know the animation looks beautiful as it is, but I do hope it is actually a strong film DreamWorks when it comes out and subverts those two problems I have for me. Yeah, well, we'll hope. Let's hope that like they can find a way to prove it. But if Annecy told us anything, they might legitimately find a way. Anyways,
and to quell your fears a bit, I mean, I don't think anybody expected Puss in Boots: The Last Wish to be as good as it was, being like a sequel to a spinoff.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That was like probably one of the most unexpected surprises of the whole decade with how that film came out. All right, let's see. I see another comment to go and read. Despite hearing the animals talking and how they're anthropomorphized, I'm still down to watch this movie. The animation is still fantastic, the character designs are adorable, and the action scenes are intense. I'm really hoping they didn't butcher the dialogue since they're gonna talk, since it's got a lot of praise at Annecy. Maybe it could be amazing. No doubt that I'll check it out when it comes out in September. Alright. Any other comments just to go and see? Yes. Okay, I'll go with these two, and then we're gonna go on to our next break. Wait, when did Baymax enter a DreamWorks film and be voiced by Nika from Black Panther? All joking aside, this looks great. The animation looks great. This jungle looks very full, and the action is enticing. I would prefer it to be silent, but this is still good. I may or may not watch it, but I'll keep an eye out for it. All right, fair enough. I gotta say, this is an awesome trailer. The animation is amazing, while dissipating for not reading the book. I think the movie is going to be great. Also, I don't really care if the characters talk, unlike the other trailer. Alright, fair enough. It looks like so far from the comments that I've been seeing, a lot of you are still very excited to see the movie, and yeah, it is a bit of a controversial subject with the talking animals and stuff, but hey, I mean, a bunch of you don't seem to mind, and Paleo, you don't seem to mind either, so it's all heading towards a very good track to see if the Wild Robot will become a true highlight for this year when it does come out on September 27th. Alright, so we're going to go on to our next break, and we have one more trailer that we are going to see. And instead of looking into these epic battles based on video games, or going into the forest and see a robot become a mother, this time around, we're going to go back to a supermarket for some of the raunchiest foods you will ever see. So stay tuned for that one. And we are back. Now, for our next and final trailer that we have here, but not the final story of this episode, of course, Paleo, I would like to go and ask you, have you seen the 2016 movie Sausage Party?
Yes, multiple times.
Oh, wow. Wow, so many times. Are you a fan of it, or it just so happens that you've just seen it?
I mean, I like it. I watched it once, like in theaters, and then I watched it with my friends. But I'm definitely more of a fan of it than other people. But yeah, I am completely aware of like the controversy around it.
Yeah, it is true that in a way some people could say that it is a bit of an acquired taste, no pun intended. Even for me, I will say that I actually did enjoy it when I saw the movie. Like, definitely not the best of that year, especially in a time when we got like Moana and Zootopia and all those features. But still, like, I did admire the script with what they are going for, and it was still very interesting to see an R-rated animated feature on the big screen. But this time around, however, the foods are going to be coming back, and this time around, they got plenty more stories to go and discuss. So with that said, let's go ahead and check out the trailer for the upcoming Amazon Prime Video series, Sausage Party Foodtopia.
Food is alive. I repeat, food is alive.
Clever girl.
So that was the trailer for Sausage Party Foodtopia, to which the series is going to be coming out on Amazon Prime Video on July 11th. And Paleo, I think you could go first on what do you think about this?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch it like immediately or not. I did like a couple of the puns in there with like blind melon and smashed pumpkins. But it also there's like a Ratatouille thing going on with one of the human characters.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that, but like that is true.
Yeah. I just have to say, watch out, the boys. Got a new hit show on Amazon.
Yeah, oh god. Yeah, forget Fallout, forget The Boys, forget Invincible. We got Sausage Party coming in. Oh, dear god. But, I'm gonna be honest, even as someone who liked the movie, watching this, I'm just like, oh boy. Honestly, I feel like it's understandable as to how the ratio on the likes and dislikes is like just about 50-50. As I am recording this, by the way, so far this trailer has about 9,200 likes, but also 7,500 dislikes. So it's like slowly but surely, like the likes and dislikes would just meet down the middle on this one. And understandably so. For me, well, I'm not a fan of puns in the first place, and a lot of these have been like very cringy, like the Yoko Ono one. Then even like, I don't know about like the blind watermelons and the smashed pumpkins. Like, even that one is just not really vibing that one. But on top of that, okay, it's one thing to have that little Ratatouille thing, but I think they've already established that in the movie where, like, right at the end, you see that there is a way you could get into the people's pants and somehow like you could fully control
Oh yeah,
them.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, like especially with that store manager who was controlled by Douche. But in this case here, I guess they're like playing around with that even more, especially with having the hot dog, like once they go into a butthole, like somehow you could control the people. But you know one thing, like this is going to be a very strange comparison, but you know what this honestly reminds me of, especially with the narrative that they're presenting? Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
I saw that in one of the comments. Yeah.
Yes! That's what it feels like. So this is very much it's very similar to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, where now we suddenly have this, this post-apocalyptic world. The food has taken over. They've become the dominant species, like they said. But then suddenly, they cannot function as properly as a society. And so now there's a point where the food and the people have to go and work together. Or in this case, is the one Will Forte character. Because, of course, Will Forte would be the kind of guy that would find himself in this kind of crazy situation. So, yeah, honestly, with you got that comparison right over there. But I will say with everything else, though, even with the kind of humor that they're delivering and with the animation that I feel like there might be a bit of a downgrade over here. Like even the animation from last time, I feel like they did a better job than this. Like, I don't know, like this one, honestly, like I know with Sausage Party, like, it had a $19 million budget, but then this one, I feel like they got an 8-episode series, and in total, it would be, like, it would still have that kind of, like, $19 million budget throughout. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I don't think I would be down to go and, like, watch Foodtopia. It's just, it doesn't look like a series that would work out for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch it because like I still have a lot of stuff on my backlog to watch. But maybe I'll put it on my watch list just for the heck of it. But yeah, there definitely is a downgrade. I mean, I kind of expect that with like, a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Gresh just said in the chat, like it looks less expressive than the movie.
Yeah, that is true. Like even like with the facial expressions, with how the characters look. I mean, like with Sausage Party, it's already minimal as is, but like there's something about it that they don't go far enough, or they don't have like the budget. But it's especially with the people that you notice there is a little bit of a downgrade. Like, I don't know, like they want to maintain with that style, but I don't know, like you look at, like even when you look at like the action when the Michael Cera sausage is controlling the Will Forte guy, like even right over here, it's just, I don't know, like it's trying to be dynamic, but it's not working as well. I feel like it just doesn't, it just doesn't look great. It doesn't make any sense, honestly. Or it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just that the execution could have been so much better. But it's just that I feel like the series doesn't necessarily have the resources for it. But there is one thing, though. I think it's time I want to go and do this announcement, Paleo. I think it's time that I need to go and say this. Now, even though this might not be something that would be worth hyping up, there is something else, though, that I want to go and make an announcement. And considering that this is the 300th episode, I think this is actually a great place to do this announcement. And this is actually in regards to my next history video. Yes, I am actually going to be doing the history of Sausage Party. And this is actually going to be my biggest standalone history video yet. And this isn't just like, this is actually going to be like something that's not just going to be chronicling the history of Sausage Party and the controversies and where did things go wrong. This is going to be a video in which I will be going down a deep rabbit hole, going into a problem that becomes bigger and bigger, that doesn't just highlight what went wrong with Sausage Party, but also the issues that are affecting the entire animation industry to this day. And I even have Paleo among one of the several people who will be having a cameo in that video, just to go and discuss about like some of the things that has happened behind the scenes. So I will actually have that not at the same time as Foodtopia, but actually pretty close. I am planning to have this be released somewhere around the beginning of July. It'll depend if I could be lucky enough to get an advanced screening of Despicable Me 4, but we will have to wait and see. But at the most, I will promise you all that it will have a release date on early July, and I highly recommend you guys keep your eyes out on that one, because I've been, it's a project that I've honestly been working for months on it, and I cannot wait to show you all what I have in store for it. Trust me. If you think what you already know about Sausage Party, it's already crazy, or trust me, you don't know half of it, because I really went deep in this rabbit hole, and chances are it might be it might be shocking, it might be controversial, but you know what? This this for me is already one of my biggest videos that I have in store for you all for this year. So just want to go and make that announcement on that. But going back into Sausage Party, however, I feel like with that one, it's just, this series that we have here, nah, honestly, it looks like a massive downgrade compared to the movie. I know with Sausage Party, not many people are fans of that in the first place, but I don't think this is going to be something that will encourage people to, give it a second chance or find a newfound audience. This right over here, it's just, the animation is not impressive whatsoever, but especially the humor that they have, it's just, there's far more misses than they would with hits. Even if they would bring back a lot of the original cast, they would bring back, Seth Rogen, Kristen Wiig, Michael Cera, Edward Norton, and more, I don't know. It's just, I'm not looking forward for this one. What about you, Paleo?
Yeah, like I said, I might put on my watch list, but I've already have a huge backlog of stuff I need to watch, so I might just watch it much later.
Yeah, not a high priority. I think that's the best thing to go and mention. So, if you are curious to see how Sausage Party Foodtopia is going to be, then don't forget to go and check it out on Amazon Prime Video when it comes out on July 11th. Alright, so with that said, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, what did you all think about the Sausage Party Foodtopia trailer? Did you guys actually enjoy this one? Are you guys a lot more iffy or more turned off by it? Let me know what you all think about it. Alright, let's see what we got in the comments. While The Boys and Invincible have some very messed up scenes, both of which were also executive produced by Seth Rogen, Sausage Party is now back with a miniseries with more swearing, more raunchiness, and more epic orgies. While I do like the movie, the series looks like a step down, especially with the animation. I don't think it'll be good, but I expect better than this. Also, how dare they mess Gum so dirty in this series? He was the GOAT in the movie, but they killed him off. How dare they? Oh, I didn't expect something like that. You got fans disappointed by how they would treat some of the characters in here. It's a fate worse than that drug addict in the movie. All right, what else do we have here? While I will admit I did enjoy Sausage Party, this doesn't look the best. The animation feels a bit like a downgrade, and the humor isn't really that great compared to the original, and the story actually does feel like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, so this is honestly a pass. Although to be fair, at least this series isn't as bad of a downgrade as Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. Yeah, I think that's honestly the most positive thing that you could say about Sausage Party. Like, like this downgrade with Foodtopia, like, it went down, but it's not like a severe crash compared to the Doom Syndicate. Like, that thing,
I
right?
haven't even watched that yet.
Honestly, don't. Just don't. Like, it's on...
You know what?
Go on.
I was gonna say, you know what it also reminds me of as far as like downgrades from like movies to TV shows, and
Yeah?
I know like some certain like fans of this franchise might crucify me for crucify me for it a little bit.
Okay.
The downgrade from My Little Pony: A New Generation to Make Your Mark, that was a
Oh,
huge downgrade as far as like
really?
the animation goes. Yeah, because the Netflix movie, like A New Generation, looked incredible. It had incredible lighting, incredible animation, everything. And then they went to the series, and the series just does not look as good at all.
Yeah, is Make Your Mark the 2D one? Because I know,
Make
like...
Your Mark's the 3D one.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
Man, even I was impressed by the movie. Like, I thought it was pretty good. And it was like, okay, the next generation is off to a great start. I didn't know that the animation would be that bad in the series. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, I did not know about that. So, I am sorry for the bronies and Pegasisters out there. Or at least, I don't know. Like, I know, like, you just mentioned that it's a hot take, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't even seen anything from the series, so if it's as bad as that, oh boy. Anyways, let's go into other comments here. As an enjoyer of Sausage Party, I am bleeping mixed about this bleeping trailer. As Bardell worked on this, the animation falls into the same territory as Buck Wild. Oh, is that why people have been...
Oh my god.
Yeah, a lot of people have been mentioning about, like, Buck Wild, and I was confused at first. Oh, this is from the same people who did the animation of the Disney Plus Buck Wild movie. Oh, that actually explains it. Yeah, suddenly I do see the similarities. Oh, geez, yeah. No, okay. Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, that does explain some things. Anyways, the humor is mixed, and sometimes, especially with the blind melon joke, I'm more confused of the fact, are the characters... of the fact that the characters is still in the real world or the cartoon world. It kind of screws up the plot. Overall, I don't know about this. Yeah, because it is true that technically, in the movie, they have a bit of an explanation that the only way that you could see the foods becoming cartoon characters is if you inject like some bath salt into you, rather intentionally or not. So I don't know if it really is a factor, like maybe they showered the world with bath salts and like the food just took over or something like that. Or maybe there can be an explanation in the series. I will give it that. Like, I'll give that benefit to the show. Maybe they'll have an explanation, but yeah, just based on, like, watching this trailer, like, is it possible that maybe some of the humans, like, you know, maybe the foods have, like, a large supply of bath salts, and they would just keep on injecting it on people one by one? I mean, who knows? Anyways, let's see what we got here. Well, I don't know what I think about this trailer, but from seeing the animation itself, it looks like it's going to be Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate territory. Also, from early on, I think the Sausage Party gang has taken over the 300th episode of the show. Oh, yeah, they know that I wouldn't say that. They know I wouldn't be as positive to it as either Arcane or the Wild Robot, so they have to hack into my stream and then, like, just completely shut it down. Yeah, it's because of that, folks. Anyways, what other comments do we have here? I think I did read that one. Okay, let's go with this. Well, when it comes to this, I say absolutely not that interested. I can establish in my lifetime to say I am not a kid anymore, and I'm particularly been breaking out of my shell from now, for I'm now free to watch. But I will admit, I am still under some limitations. I can handle bloody moments and swearing like Has-Been Hotel, but anything with popcorn hold the OPC, and that's where I stop. Also, reminds me of issues I had with as a teen in school trying to edge me. Overall, it's a pass. All right, do we have any more comments? Just want to go and double check. Here, I'll read one more before we go into the next break. All I could say from this trailer is yeet, 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 triple times a day. When I first watched the movie, I was not impressed by it, and this, however, made things even worse. There's too many food puns and gross humor, the animation looks limited, and the new characters are a bit of a downgrade. And thanks for the announcement on the history of Sausage Party. I really hope you'll give us more information about what happened behind the scenes. I'm really excited to see what you have. Oh, trust me, I cannot wait to show that to you all as well. So, once again, for those of you who are curious, at least, to see Sausage Party Foodtopia, I know so far the reception has not been great and the trailer did not give out a good first impression. Keep in mind that it shall be coming soon to Amazon Prime Video on July 11th. So, we will go on to another break, and when we do come back, we will be getting into some animation news. And we will go and start that off by looking into what happened this weekend, in which we know in the past we talked about how Pixar has been worried, but now with these numbers, they can put they can put their anxiety at ease. All right, we are back. Now, for our next story, Paleo, may I ask you, have you seen Inside Out 2 this weekend?
I did. I actually saw it on Thursday.
Yeah, actually, the same with me, actually. Could you go and, express your quick thoughts about it, or are you saving that for an upcoming review?
I am probably going to talk about it in the review, but I'll say my quick thoughts. Like, my quick thoughts are like, I didn't quite like it as much as the first movie. I think that's what a lot of people think. Oddly enough, the pacing of the movie felt a lot faster than the first movie, even though this movie is technically 1 minute longer. Which is a weird thing to say. I liked a lot of the jokes and the humor and a lot of the expressions, and everything like looks like as on par with Pixar is like everything looks incredible. There's like some moments where there are like close-ups on the characters where everything just looks incredibly detailed. With like all the lighting and everything. But other than that, like one thing I was surprised by is that when I was at the theater, it had a lot of people there for a screening before release.
Oh, really? Like, was it like jam packed?
Yeah, it was like nearly full.
Oh, dang! That like, was there like a special event that was going on at that cinema, or was there like a...
No, it's just like, yeah, my place usually like does Thursday showings. Sometimes two in that Thursday. So it depends on the movie, but usually for the big mainstream movies, they'll have a Thursday showing.
Okay, no, like my cinema also does that as well. They do Thursday showings. Like, I've had some people that were there, but it was like, for me, it was just a Thursday afternoon, so it wasn't like as crowded. But I remember there was actually one time that I went into the theater to go and watch Kung Fu Panda 4. And what I didn't realize was that it was happening while there was a spring break. So I didn't realize it. But my screening of Kung Fu Panda 4, it was like a full house. Like, I was legitimately lucky to even get the ticket that I had.
Yeah. Yeah, well, also, like, it's like the beginning of summer, so, like, all the kids are off break, so...
yeah, that is...
Off for the summer break.
Yeah, that is true. But going back to our main subject, so of course we have seen Inside Out 2. I see many people in the chat wall, they have seen Inside Out 2. Safe to say that many people have. And the biggest proof of that is actually with the box office. Yes, Inside Out 2 has not only gotten a very strong opening on its first weekend, but also it was able to get a record-breaking opening. Now, you probably recall in the previous times that I've talked about Pixar, they have mentioned how Inside Out 2 was a massive risk, and that everything about Pixar was on the line to make sure that this movie would become a success. Because if not, then the whole studio would have like an existential crisis and would have to completely rethink of the way they would have to go and create movies. But safe to say, what's been happening with Inside Out 2? It went a lot better than the opening of Elemental and Lightyear. As I am recording this, just to go and have a quick refresh just to see if anything changed. No? Okay, so as I am recording this, it has stated here that the domestic opening of Inside Out 2, reading from my source on Box Office Mojo, by the way, it has a domestic opening of $155 million, with an additional $140 million in the international market, making a worldwide total of $295 million. And again, this is just on its opening weekend alone. And because of that, it was able to break several major records. And on this, on my source here, or another source on Variety, they actually have a bit of a list of the records that Inside Out 2 has managed to break with its massive opening. To which it states here that with its domestic opening of $155 million, of course, it is the biggest opening of the year so far, beating out Dune Part 2 and Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, making almost double than what those two has done. But on top of that, it is now so far the only release of 2024 and the first since last year's Barbie, which that came out last July, to launch above $100 million. It is also stated to be the second largest animated debut of all time, behind Incredibles 2, which that one opened with $182.7 million, or technically the third if you would go and count the 2019 Lion King remake. And then there is also the second biggest start in Pixar's history, in which it managed to beat out Finding Dory and Toy Story 4. It is also stated to be the fourth biggest opening ever for a PG movie, in which it is only behind the 2019 Lion King remake, Incredibles 2, and the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast. For the international market, it is said to have the biggest international opening weekend in history at current exchange rates, surpassing Frozen 2. And is also noted to be the second biggest at actual exchange rates. It is also said to be the second biggest debut ever in Latin America, only behind Avengers Endgame. It also has the greatest start in some smaller markets, including Colombia, Turkey, and Paraguay, and is also in the top 5 in countries like Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Greece, and Peru. And internationally, it is the fourth biggest animated opening ever for an IMAX film. And this doesn't count the Chinese movies with $3.5 billion. And for its box office total, it has gotten the biggest animated opening of all time in like-for-like markets at current exchange rates, and even beating out the Super Mario Brothers movie. And that's also another thing that is worth mentioning, that Inside Out 2 did indeed have a bigger opening than the Super Mario Bros. Movie last year. And it is also globally the 4th biggest animated debut for an IMAX movie without counting the Chinese films with $14.5 million. And it is also worth noting that just with its opening alone, it has now become the 5th highest grossing movie of 2024 so far, both domestically and worldwide. So, Paleo, I would like to know your thoughts about the opening that Inside Out 2 did, because it was very unexpected that Inside Out 2 would legitimately do this well.
Yeah, because I saw some predictions saying that, like, oh, it's going to make, like, 85 million, which is still going to be, like, the biggest of the year. But I don't think anybody expected, like, you know, oh, it's going to do, like, twice that much, or, like, almost twice that much, and, like, like, nearly 300 million, like, worldwide. 295 million, but I don't know any other film this year that will do quite as well as that, other than Despicable Me 4. That's the only other competition I think that could probably dethrone it, just because Despicable Me and Minions are like this just massive like thing.
Yeah,
that's really the only thing I can see like dethroning it. Oh yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine maybe.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine for sure. I think that one, I would say the most likely would be Deadpool and Wolverine. Despicable Me 4, I think that might be a wait and see. Like, most likely it will end up making its money, but at this point, especially from what I've been hearing, like, critics are really not liking it, even, like, by Despicable Me standards, so, I don't know. Oh. Yeah, so, I don't know if things are gonna go well with Despicable Me 4. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but...
I mean, it hasn't stopped it before, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess...
Despicable Me 3 did really well.
Yeah, that is true. But, if I would go and add 2 more that I would make a guess, and, like, these would be more circumstantial if they would get, like, raving reviews, I would say maybe Wicked and Moana 2. Like, if those 2 are able to get some, like, you know, if they could get the same kind of reviews that we are seeing right now with Inside Out 2, I think those can also make some massive numbers as well.
It's going to be very interesting with Moana 2, since, like, Moana did well, but it didn't do, like, nearly as well as, like, Zootopia earlier that year. And also...
Go on.
Oh, I was going to say, and also, like, Moana, it's going to be very interesting to watch Moana 2, because it started getting a lot more popular when, you know, people had it at home for streaming. So, since, you know, it's, like, the most streamed, like, movie on Disney+, so...
I would even say it's like probably the most streamed movie ever, even compared to like the numbers that Netflix and Amazon did. I think because of that popularity, it put Moana to the next level, where chances are, if things do go well for Moana 2, I think it'll easily surpass the amount that the first Moana did. But like I said before, if Moana 2 can get those same positive reviews like Inside Out 2, even if it's the kind that, like you just mentioned, that some people will say, like, oh, maybe it's not as good as the first, like, if it could still be, like close to being as good, then it'll still be solid. Like, it'll still be able to go and match up, you know, still match up to, like, what Inside Out 2 is doing and, like, really climb up. But
yeah, you know what's...
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, you know what's gonna be weird is that we might get a trailer for the live action Moana before Moana 2.
Well, I mean, like, they recently just announced the cast. I don't know if, like, they're gonna immediately jump into that. I think, like, we're gonna wait until next year, or worst case, or oh no, wait, oh no, oh, I just thought of something. Like, okay, maybe they'll do like a tiny, like, little trailer, but if a trailer would exist, there is going to be the D23 Expo that's going to be coming up. They're for sure going to mention something about it. Oh, crap. Yeah, like, I don't know, I just went into a phase of, like, oh, that ain't gonna happen. Oh, no, wait, no, that thing's gonna happen. Oh, crap, you might be right.
Oh, wait, was it delayed to 2026 for the live action?
It did.
Okay, never mind then. Because I thought it was still on for next year.
No, they're not. It's just, but we could be getting something. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, even if we're like, even if it's not immediate, I'm sure we're going to get something because of D23 Expo. They will be talking about it. They will be mentioning it.
Yeah.
And they will be bringing Dwayne Johnson to go and talk about it.
I want to see the Moana world in Kingdom Hearts 4. I know, like, Moana and Zootopia are probably, like, a shoe-in to be in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, honestly, there's only one world that I want to see, and honestly, I'm kind of upset that they have yet to do anything about it. When the fridge are we getting a Princess and the Frog world? You would think Dr. Facilier would be perfect
he would.
He would be perfect to be a Kingdom Hearts villain, but, like, never once do we see them actually take advantage of that moment. Like, I don't know, I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah.
Going back onto with what we are seeing so far with the records with Inside Out 2, already, I mean, like, you've probably seen, like, the previous reports before how, like, people, like, there was, like, a lot of high stakes with what is happening with Inside Out 2, that, that everything was riding on the success of this movie in the hopes that, are people still interested in watching Pixar movies? Do people care about the Pixar formula? Does it still work? Does it still attach to people? And yeah, it is true that recently, in terms of the box office run, it hasn't been looking good for Pixar, especially ever since the pandemic began. Because, like, especially with a lot of its attempts of putting movies on the big screen, like, yeah, with Elemental, it still ended up becoming a hit, thanks to, like, positive word of mouth. But still, like we've seen in articles, they were still traumatized by the terrible opening that the movie started out with. And then, of course, you would also have Lightyear that unfortunately flopped. And then you also have even the re-releases with Turning Red, Soul, and Luca. That, it's not. It definitely wasn't the strongest re-releases that we had this year. I don't think any of these movies have even broke $1 million, like, just on one weekend alone. So from there, like, I understand, like, the fear and the worry that is currently going on at Pixar, but I think, like, from what we have seen with the results of Inside Out 2, with both the box office score, with how audiences have been reacting to it, and what critics have been reacting to it, I think, like, the future is going a lot better. After watching Inside Out 2, how do you feel about Pixar's future? Do you think, like, things are going to get better from here, or, like, things are going to be a lot calmer? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just unfortunate that, like, I think a lot of the lesson is going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to do, like, more sequels or whatever. But I hope it's going to be very interesting to see how Elio does, because that's the next film.
Yeah. And also, I have heard a report that allegedly in Elio, they've actually switched directors, and now it might be, now it's going to be Domi Shi, I believe, that is going to be the director of the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's interesting, but, like, I know that whenever there's, like, a switch in terms of directors, like, some people might be concerned about it, because, like, we know with Pixar it has happened before, and, like, the results are not great. Like, we've seen it with Brave and with The Good Dinosaur and stuff, so hopefully it won't be that damaging. But then again, I would honestly believe the case, considering that it did get delayed by a whole year. Like, technically we should have gotten it this March.
Yeah, we should have gotten this before Inside Out too. So
yeah. But I will say, like, even though with the future of Pixar, like, yes, it is true that we are going to be getting more sequels, but they did promise, however, that they're not giving up on original movies. Like, Pete Docter has made it clear that it is still going to be happening. They just won't be as frequent. That's the only catch to it. And, like, and I'll even say now, like, Pete Docter and the people at Pixar are very well aware of the pressure that's under them when it comes to making sequels and trying to make original features. Like, they are aware of how people are reacting to it, and, like, one of the hardest things they got to do right now at Pixar is to try to find that proper balance. To find a way to say that it's either, that if they know how to go and distribute sequels and then distribute an original feature, like to go and have that careful balance. So I think it is worth mentioning that they would have that.
Yeah, because like even in the 2010s, we did get a lot of Pixar sequels. We got like or prequels like with Monsters University and Finding Dory and Incredibles 2.
Yeah, so. Like we've pretty much gotten used to it at this point, but I guess like a lot of people are still looking back at the Pixar from the 2000s. Also, I just want to go and like quickly mention this because I see a lot of people are still talking about it in the chat wall. But apparently there's a bit of a breaking news that apparently there's going to be a live-action Totally Spy series coming.
Huh?
Yeah, no joke. Apparently Amazon Prime Video is going to be making a live-action Totally Spy series, and Will Ferrell is going to be an executive producer.
Wow.
Yep, it's right over here. Apparently, it is according to IGN that there is going to be that live-action Totally Spies. We got Will Ferrell. That's an executive producer, and yeah, apparently, I don't know like what else they would go and mention here, but yeah, apparently that's going to be a thing. Just to let you know. Okay, wow. But yeah, but. Overall, though, I think this is a very positive sign that things are finally going to be looking up for Pixar, and especially for Disney, that now they have a good, they have a successful movie in store. So I just want to say congratulations to the team at Pixar for that incredible opening with Inside Out 2, and that hopefully we will see more records be broken. And by the way, Paleo, do you mind doing the honors of reading some of the comments in the chat wall? Because I just need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Oh, sure. I don't know. Hold on. Let's see. It froze. Oh, okay. I'll wait then. I thought things were freezing because I heard a pause. Oh wait, are we back? It's back? Okay. At least at least Matt didn't have to reboot everything. Okay, so I'm gonna read chat wall here. Let's see. From Moon here, it says congratulations, Pete Doctor. Thanks to Inside Out 2. Pixar is back in the box office opening. Will soon be successful in the coming weeks. As for that guy who wrote an article on Pixar's failure in missing John Lasseter last year, well, he was wrong, and with his dumb take on Pixar stuff, and now is proof is here. By the way, I'd Murbarak to everyone who is celebrating this week. In case you didn't know, it's a cultural celebration for Muslims around the world. Nice. Let's see. Jonathan here says Inside Out 2. It's debatable if it's as good as the first, but it was such an amazing film on its own. I personally love this movie so much, and Anxiety did bring me anxiety as well, in the best way. I think it's worth the wait and delivered the hype and emotions with this film. I do want to say this congratulations not only to Pixar's team, but to my good pal Magdalene Duhamel, who is one of the associates producers of the film. She absolutely earned it. Nice. That's really cool. Let's see, Jay Monty here. I absolutely loved Inside Out 2. And these records are definitely well deserved. It definitely was because of the positive word of mouth and how beloved the first film is. And I think it has a chance to become a billion-dollar hit. Seriously, it's funny how people mock Disney for their failures last year. Yet they are the saviors right now, and not just with Inside Out 2, but also Deadpool and Wolverine, which could have at least 200 million opening domestically. Oh yeah, don't forget that also King of the Planet of the Apes is also owned by Disney. So we got that there.
All right, I'm back. Where
Nice.
were we?
Your stream, it did die for a moment, but it did come back, thankfully, this time.
Okay, good. Oh my
Yeah, like
god.
right when you left.
What is going on with today? Holy crap. Man, it's like it's the 300th episode, and yet suddenly the stream decided to go haywire. Oh boy. Anyways, just can you point to me to a comment that you haven't read already?
Oh yeah, I haven't read Ryan Conde's yet.
Let's see. Okay, I'll take it from here. Honestly, I don't think I've seen an opening as jaw-droppingly amazing as this since either Spider-Man No Way Home or Top Gun Maverick. I'm so happy that Inside Out 2 opened this high. Not just because it's a genuinely great movie, I saw it twice over the weekend, but because this makes it the biggest animated hit for Disney and Pixar in 5 years. I don't know what Disney will take from this massive success, but they absolutely needed it after everything that happened between 2020 and 2023. Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, this is pretty much the first time since Frozen 2 that Disney has a legitimate animated hit. Like, this is something that Disney has absolutely needed for a long time. Let's see.
You know what Top Gun Maverick reminds me of too is that because like I didn't think Top Gun Maverick was going to be that big of a hit. But it does make me wonder if Twisters is going to be a big hit. Because like I know a lot of people like in that age demographic. Because like when I went to go see Top Gun Maverick, there was a lot of like really old people. But I know a lot of like people in that age demographic that really love the movie Twister. So I'm expecting like a much bigger like old demographic to go see Twisters that rarely go to see movies. So I think Twisters is gonna be a hit.
You could be right, honestly. Like one thing that I was massively surprised about was the new Bad Boys movie. That actually turned out to be massively successful. I thought it was just going to be, ignored by people, but no, that turned out to be a pretty big hit. So honestly, you might be right. Maybe Twisters is going to be successful. Like I never really thought much of it, but maybe there is going to be that audience who would really want to see that again.
Yeah.
All right, so I think from here we're going to go on to our final break. And when we do come back, we will finally discuss about some news related to the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. And just like what we have seen over here with Paleo taking the wheel where he would go and read some of the comments on the chat wall, this time around, I think, Paleo, this is going to be your time to shine. So stay tuned for that, folks. And now, folks, it is time that we shall go and cap this episode off with...
What?
The grand finale! Oh, sorry, I had a little, like, audio thing going on.
Okay.
I don't think you heard it on your end,
It was just silence for me.
Yeah, I understand if it was weird for you. Like, just like... Wait, what's going on? Okay, no, I just didn't connect my soundboard onto Discord, that's why. I wish I know how to do that, though. That would actually be awesome. But anyways, for this grand finale, we will be discussing one of the biggest highlights at this year's Annecy International Animation Film Festival. And while there have been a lot of reactions that have been revealed, like companies coming in where they would show clips of their upcoming shows and movies, and they would get a bunch of applause for it, we haven't heard anything in terms of like big announcements. With the exception of this one, however, this company decided to step in and say, let me show you everything that we have in store. And we are going to be going into this one by one, by the way, with all the announcements from Cartoon Network. And yeah, it's honestly unexpected that Cartoon Network decided to step in and release a big list of what they will have in store for the channel. Like, what was your first reaction when you saw all this news?
I was very shocked, especially like with how much we've like been ragging on, Warner Brothers in general, like in the past like couple of years. Uh,
Of course.
um, so there was like there was a lot of doubt as far as like the direction of like what was going to be happening to Cartoon Network. Uh, as far as like their shows and their projects and everything. So it was a bit refreshing to see like, oh yeah, there's stuff being worked on then. So cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks like they're actually busy. Now they revealed what's been going on. Honestly, for me, it feels similar to how I felt last week with Sony Animation. I just felt like they've been silent for so long. We don't know any other projects that they were working on other than Spider-Verse, and then suddenly all the Netflix stuff has been revealed with the K-pop Demon Hunter movie, with Motel Transylvania, and with the Ghostbuster series. So it's like, oh, okay, you are doing things. Okay, just making sure. But anyways, let's actually get into these announcements, by the way. Reading from my source here on Variety, the first thing that they have revealed is Foster's Fun Time for Imaginary Friends, the preschool series based on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, in which Craig McCracken, the creator of the original show, will be coming back for this one, and even mention that McCracken has promised the same fast pace, but a fun, simpler structure and less cynical humor. And on top of that, only Blue and Madame Foster return. And even showing a little image of what will be in store with this prequel series, which looks like might have like mixed media elements or mixed animation styles, where we got some characters that are CG and some that are 2D. So, yeah, with this one, what do you think about the return of Foster's, but as a preschool show?
Um, I'm a bit mixed to it. I do like that. Apparently McCracken is still attached to the series, so that's promising. Um,
Mhm.
and as far as like the mixed media stuff, I do really like that. Considering like it's all about imaginary friends, and like of course imaginary friends would be made of different things. Um, so they're kind of like doing like a gumball approach to the way it's gonna look. Um, so yeah, I am very curious as to how they're going to do that, because they haven't really done that many preschool shows. I know like they recently did Jessica's Little Big World. I haven't watched any of that, but that's like the spinoff of Craig at the Creek.
Oh, right,
Um,
that one.
yeah. Unfortunately, I think that one got canceled. Like there was only like a season or two of it. I don't know if it was just like one season. But I haven't watched it, so I don't know what it's like. So I'm very interested to see what like this and something else that we'll talk about later um
Yeah.
is going to be like as far as like a preschool show goes.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, like I know that Cartoon Network has started with Cartoonito, that they want to go one by one into like getting into the preschool market and stuff like that. And the start didn't go great, but now like it looks like they got a new plan for it and try to be more serious with what they'll have in store with the preschool stuff.
Yeah.
All right, but then our next one, oh, this is your time to shine, Paleo.
Yeah.
Because the next one we have is Adventure Time Side Quests, where they promise that with side quests, they will be going back to making this a more family-friendly show instead of Fiona and Cake, which that one was a little bit more adult-oriented. And this one, it looks like, based on the description, that it's going to be a preschool, not preschool, but a prequel series where we are going to be looking into the earlier adventures of characters like Finn and Jake, as well as some others, including the Ice King. And on top of that, one of the creative heads of Adventure Time, or at least for some of the seasons, Nate Cash, is going to be coming in as the creator of this series. So, what do you think about side quests?
I'm always up for more Adventure Time. Like, I love the world and the characters. They're just like characters that I kind of like want to hang out with. That's part of the appeal for Adventure Time for me. And also just like the world in general, the Land of Ooh is like it's a very much like a sandbox world. It's very inspired by like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, and that was like, like a direct influence on the series and how it kind of played out throughout its run. As far as like making these different adventures for the characters. Um, and I'm very excited to see this. This is going to be like definitely a more episodic series compared to Adventure Time. It's sort of more like the first two seasons, because the first two seasons were very episodic.
Right.
And even later seasons, like they still had episodic episodes, and they were very very fun. Like one of my favorite episodes is just like a random episode where Finn stumbles upon a dungeon where he cannot open his eyes. It's called the Hall of Egress. And like he just stumbles upon that dungeon and just he can't open his eyes, or he has to restart the dungeon. But they can do like a lot of really cool stuff. Going back to the world. Making a prequel series kind of makes sense because we kind of like already know all these different narrative threads that they'll go through. And just having a lot more fun with like the different adventures they've gone on. And I honestly like Adventure Time is one of those shows where like I know people kind of like moan about like everything becoming a franchise and everything like that, but for me, for Adventure Time, I'll take everything I can get. Because I love the show so much. So I'm excited for this, and also the other things they're gonna be revealing here.
Of course. And moving right along, another major project that they have revealed is going to be the return of Regular Show. Now, we don't necessarily know what's going to be going on with it, but other than the fact that, and it even mentions that we don't know if it's going to be like a sequel series or a spin-off or anything like that. They even mentioned that we don't know if Mordecai and Rigby will be returning, but what we do know is that J.G. Quintel, the original creator of Regular Show, is going to be coming back to work on this series in particular. So what direction could they go with Regular Show? Because I know that with that one, with its finale, they kind of wrapped everything up like very tightly.
Yeah, there's like an epilogue montage and everything, so I'm not sure what they would do.
Yeah, like would they legitimately do a sequel series, or do you think it's going to be a spin-off looking into one of the specific characters? Like, what do you think the direction could go?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they would do the same thing like they're doing with Adventure Time, where there's like sort of like a prequel thing where like we might see, I don't know, like Mordecai and Rigby in college or something, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like honestly, like it's one of those where like it sounds cool at first, but the more you think about it, the more it's like, what can you do? Because it feels like the show managed to do everything it wanted to create, and then like wrap things up with like you mentioned, that epilogue montage where we see their life afterwards, like several decades even after the events of the finale. So like where can you go with this?
Yeah, it's very different from like Adventure Time, because like with Adventure Time, the world itself is a character, and like the world itself is like like I said, it's very limitless. With that world they created, they can just like make any kind of weird kingdom or like dungeon or whatever, and just like have an episode about that. But with the Regular Show, it's like a bit more grounded in reality. It's funny to say that because like Regular Show like goes off the rails like with every episode.
Oh yeah.
But man, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe J.J. Quintel has an idea, so since he's attached to it.
Yeah, the best that we could do is just trust him that he'll find a way to create something. I mean, so far with what he's already done with Regular Show and with Close Enough, like they have been proven to be very strong. So hopefully he will create another banger with this one.
Yeah.
And then following up, there is also like this big list talking about some of the other projects that they would go and present, in which they would show little clips of what's going to be coming up with the 400th episode of Teen Titans Go, which apparently is going to be stop motion. There's one clip they've presented from Gremlins: The Wild Batch, and even showing a fight scene for an upcoming anime series called Invincible Fight Girl. They've also mentioned that there's going to be a spin-off to Merry Little Batman called Bat Family, and even talked about a little bit of a surprise comeback of the Amazing World of Gumball. Now, they didn't mention anything if this is going to be the long-awaited Gumball movie or maybe another Gumball series, but that's going to be something.
They did mention recently, there was in another article that happened recently where they are making another season. I'm not
okay.
That they're continuing, like, you know, where they left off from the last season. So.
Oh, okay. So, okay, yeah. Yeah, even someone mentioned, it's like, okay, so they'll actually resolve that cliffhanger that they had.
Yeah.
Okay, and then next up, they did talk about a lot of the DC stuff that they have in store, more so than just Bat Family. Apparently they mentioned that there's going to be a Watchmen series that will be coming up, and even showing a little bit of a clip for the upcoming Batman Cape Crusader, which is going to be the series that will be brought to us by Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves. And on top of that, they also showed a little bit of a clip from the upcoming anime movie Lord of the Rings: The War of Rohirrim, in which that one was also highly praised at Annecy, about as much as The Wild Robot. So already people are very much excited for that one.
It's so crazy that we're getting a Lord of the Rings anime.
I know. It's like, yeah, an animated movie, that's one thing, but a Lord of the Rings anime, it feels, you know, that almost looks like it's going into like Mad Lib territory, but based on the reactions, it looks like it might be legitimately worthwhile. But anyways, yeah, and I do see in the chat wall, someone did mention that there is also, speaking of DC, there's also going to be a Blue Beetle animated series that they are going to do as well. I think like they've also, like, it hasn't been mentioned in this article here, but they did mention that there are some things that they did show at Annecy that is going to have a bit of a connection with the upcoming DC universe that James Gunn is creating. I think like they showed it was the Blue Beetle series and Creature Commandos that they have presented and showed little clips as well. And oh yes, I might as well go and mention this as well. A lot of people in the chat want me to bring this up also, but there is at this year's Annecy, there was the big premiere of the 2D animated Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, and apparently that again was very well received at Annecy, and hopefully we will be able to see that soon. And they promise that they're going to be
on the big screen.
Yeah, they promise that it will be in theaters, so we'll see about that. But anyways, going back to some of these announcements on Variety, they've also mentioned there's going to be a brand new Scooby-Doo series. But speaking of animes, this too will also be an anime called Go Go Mystery Machine, in which Shaggy and Scooby, they went to Japan and suddenly a bunch of monsters and spirits have emerged. And from there, they decided to enlist the help of Scooby-Doo's Japanese uncle, Daisuke-Doo, and a magical buddy they have called Etsuko, and a gadget whiz named Toshiro. And that's also going to be something that they will have coming soon at Annecy. And then we have another Adventure Time series, this time the preschool series called Adventure Time Hey BMO. So, Paleo, can you take this one from here?
Yeah, so yeah, Heyo BMO, that's gonna be, it makes sense to make a preschool series out of BMO, because BMO is, like, a very innocent, like, childlike character, and it's funny, because, like, when I saw, like, the title card they had for this, by Crispy Boat, the artist that made it. I thought it was fan art because like I follow the artist that makes like makes all these like claymation like
Right.
3D things that look very good. And I thought it was fan art at first, and then I looked into the article and everything. I was like, oh wait, this is a thing that's happening, and that's how I found out about everything else. But yeah, Heyo Bimo, it makes sense, and I do have confidence in this as well, along with side quests and the other things. But because Adam Muto is running as the like the talent behind this, and one of the storyboard artists from Distant Lands as well. So I think they'll do it well. I think that they'll probably have it feel like the most eccentric episodes of Adventure Time, which already kind of feel like a preschool show almost. Not quite, because like there are some like dark humor moments in some of the BMO episodes, and like very weird humor there. But I'm interested to see. I mean, I'm gonna watch like all the Adventure Time stuff, of course. So.
All right, awesome. But anyways, going back onto our list that we have here, so they've also revealed that there's going to be another preschool series, but this time it's going to be based on the novel Barbara Throws a Wobbler, or at least based on the picture books of it, in which it will, one of the creative leads of it will include Horvis van Holzer, who is the 2D animation director of Gumball. And then there is, probably your biggest announcement. Do you want to save that one for last?
Yeah.
Or okay, we'll save that one for last then.
Yeah, we'll save it for last.
Yeah, and then following afterwards, we do have a new show called, or a movie actually, is called Bad Karma, which is going to be an Indian-inspired fantasy mythological world, in which it will feature a young demon princess named Chandra and the legendary demigod Hanuman, in which the creators of this movie will include Sanjay Patel, the guy who created the Pixar short Sanjay Super Team, Rajesh Devraj, who is the writer of Arjun the Warrior Prince, Vikash Shankar, and Katie Price.
I still need to watch Arjun. Like I've had that recommended to me a lot before.
Oh, really?
And then yeah, and I just want to point out this typo here on the article. It says instead of director of Oscar nominated, it says dictator of Oscar nominated.
Oh yeah. Why? What is that? What is this wording? The dictator of the Oscar nominated. It's like, I don't know. That seems like an intimidating position. It's like what did you do? Oh, did you direct this series? No, I dictated it. Yeah, that's just weird wording from Variety right there. And then there's also a new series called Lovey Dovey, in which it will be brought to us by one of the writers of Harley Quinn, Ava Tramer, in which it says that it is about a romantic wedding dove in search of his one true love, getting stuck with a bunch of streetwise pigeons whose only goal is to screw the large bird from a popular kids' TV show. All right, so moving.
I want to know what that bird looks like.
Yeah, that is true, because it really sounds like these pigeons, they just have a serious vendetta over Big Bird. Oh boy. But anyways, there are a few more announcements that we will go and mention. But there is also the Adult Swim announcements as well, to which they revealed some new shows that are going to be coming, including Ha Ha Clowns and, oh my god, yes, a series of extremely relatable circumstances. On top...
Wait, you paused for me for a moment.
Oh, did I? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I'm just checking the stream to make sure everything's okay.
Nah, it should be fine. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's Ha Ha Clowns and a series of extremely relatable circumstances. And they have confirmed that there will indeed be a season 3 of Smiling Friends. But the biggest announcement from that Adult Swim panel is actually a brand new Genndy Tartakovsky series called Heist Safari, which is going to be a comedic robbery in which he says will feel like a musical. Paleo, do you want to express your thoughts on this one?
That's very interesting because that's one thing I actually didn't know that was announced from Annecy. And I still need to watch like Unicorn Warriors Eternal. I've only seen like the first couple episodes of that.
Did they announce a season 2 for that yet, or like nothing else?
I don't know. I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, because I know like people went crazy for it when that first came out, but then it's like it happened, but then suddenly like people quickly moved on.
Yeah. It sounds like there's going to be like a lot of like anthropomorphic characters in here. Because it says like there's like 3 like frogs, and there's going to be like a Russian mafia hippo, and an Italian gorilla mobster. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. No, it does sound intriguing. And I mean, when Genndy Tartakovsky, when he makes something new for a show, like that's the time when we need to pay attention to it. And especially after what he recently did with Primal, like honestly, I'm on board to know like what he has in store, like especially if it's going to be with Adult Swim. So this could definitely have a lot of potential. So with that said, the time has come that we discuss about probably your biggest announcement. And that is going to be the Adventure Time movie. The fact that we don't know what's going to be happening in there, other than the fact that Jake and Finn are going to be in a big adventure. But we have a confirmation that not only Adam Muto, but also Rebecca Sugar and Patrick McHale will be part of this movie. So, Pilio, would you like to go and discuss about this?
Yeah, so I remember back in, it was like 2015. I believe, when they announced it, like, oh yeah, we're going to be doing an Adventure Time movie, and like the miniseries Stakes, which, the only one of those came out. But like, I think like after Adventure Time ended, I think Cartoon Network was kind of hungry for like, wait, but we kind of want more, because like Adventure Time was one of their most successful shows. Their most successful shows being like Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd and Eddy. Those were like huge hits for them. And then Adventure Time came along. And sort of like started that kind of renaissance in the 2010s for Cartoon Network. And even before then, there was like Chowder and Flapjack that kind of like kickstarted a lot of that creative talent. Where with the Adventure Time movie, I don't know if it'll be like theatrical or not. I have a feeling it won't be, but even so, I'm super excited to see something like full length. Because, like, even though with Distant Lands, like, I love the Distant Lands specials. They're all very good, but they're still, like, held to that 44-minute, like, time frame, where this is going to be, like, a full-length movie, and I do have a lot of confidence in it, since, Adam Muto, Patrick McHale, and Rebecca Sugar are all attached to it, and they have been with Adventure Time, like, pretty much almost since the beginning. And like I said, I'm always up for more Adventure Time, and I've always wanted them to do some kind of movie. If anything, the movie that they would have had before probably would have been something like Together Again, which was the one of the Distant Land specials that was focused on Finn and Jake. But that might have been a little too dark, because if you've seen Together Again, you know that like Together Again is like, oh yeah, Finn and Jake are dead, like in the beginning, and they have to they meet each other in like the land of the dead. That would have been like a very dark movie if they did something full feature length like that.
Oh yeah.
But for this, like, this seems like it'll be like something in the middle of like the Adventure Time like timeline, or a little bit after the show ended, or something like that. So I'm trying to guess of like what they're going to try to do, but with the talent they have attached to it, I have confidence that they'll make something good. And I'm glad Rebecca Sugar is coming back, because that means there's going to be a lot of great songs in the movie.
Oh, that's true.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll even admit, like, when I watched the Steven Universe movie, like, I haven't seen, like, much episodes before, but, like, that soundtrack was phenomenal. Like, if we can
Yeah.
get that caliber of a soundtrack onto the Adventure Time movie, I think we're gonna have something that, like, that alone feels like it's gonna be really worthwhile. And this is coming from someone who's not as familiar with Adventure Time as much as you would be. But already, like, even for me, I feel like the like just the fact that we do have like not just the veterans like Adam Muto, but like even Patrick McHale and Rebecca Sugar, like that, even that gives me confidence, especially with Patrick McHale. Like we've seen like what he could do creatively, like with Over the Garden Wall, which was amazing. Not to mention how he was also a writer for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and that thing was like phenomenal. So again, like already we're having a combination of talents. Like they've previously worked on Adventure Time, and if they could bring that kind of talent to the Adventure Time movie, this could be like, I think this might be something that like we'll need to really keep an eye out for both fans and non-fans. I think this might be something like truly special.
Yeah, and they're still doing like season 2 of Fiona and Cake, so like there's a lot of Adventure Time content like coming. And I didn't think we would have like that much more after the show ended.
Oh yeah, like it really spawned like it really branched off into its own thing. Like it spreaded like wildfire. Like after Adventure Time, suddenly like you would get Fiona and Cake, and then suddenly now we're getting the side quests and Hey BMO, and now we're getting a whole movie. So now, yeah, like it's like oddly enough, it's taking the SpongeBob route, but so far it looks like it's doing better than SpongeBob on that route.
Well, yeah, like I said, the world of Adventure Time and the characters, like they're so expansive. And like there's so many different things that you can do with that world, and not to mention there's different like timelines, different alternate realities within Adventure Time. It's like so many different things that you can expand off of. Like I said, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. That's like literally inspiration, and like even if you look at the logo, it's like it's very Dungeons and Dragons inspired.
Oh
with
yeah,
how the logo looks. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Now, we're just going to go onto a quick break, mainly because I want to reset the ad so that like we're not suddenly interrupted by that. And when we do return, I want to go and ask you all in the chat, what do you all think about these announcements? You could take the time to go and write them down and express which ones are you the most excited for. So let's go and have our break, reset the timer for the ads, and we'll be back for that. All right, so now let's see what the chat wall has to say with all these announcements. Since we can't talk about Sony buying Alamo Drafthouse or Sherry Redstone rejecting the Skydance deal, which I'm still furious about right now, I'm surprised we heard some big news from Cartoon Network about some upcoming projects. Only a new series of regular show that I'm excited about the most, and I am a diehard fan of the show, but the rest, like Adventure Time and Foster's Home, I'll give it a pass, including the latter as it targets more preschoolers. Looks promising so far from Cartoon Network. Yeah, I just want to go and say right now, I know the week has just been completely crazy with all the different news that came out, including the ones that I have not even discussed about yet, or the ones that I didn't even mention, with Sony Pictures buying Alamo Drafthouse, which makes it the first time in decades that a movie studio actually purchased a theater chain, or of course
70-something years or something, right?
Yep, definitely. And then there's also, well, the Skydance deal being completely rejected, and Paramount is back to being on the drawing board, so their future is still questionable at this point. But then again, with what's been revealed, what happened behind the scenes, like with the possibility of like Paramount being broken into pieces so that Warner Brothers could have the television stuff, and that John Lasseter's health is allegedly going pretty bad, where it became a problematic factor on the deal. Like, yeah, it's just that whole thing has been a mess. Oh boy. All the announcements from Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers Animation looks great. Go-Go Mystery Machine is another Scooby-Doo series, but now traveling to Japan in anime style. Gendy, I'm still waiting for Fixed, man. Also, I'm wondering what happened to the Powerpuff Girls reboot from Craig McCracken that is now in development. By the way, happy Eid Mukabar for everyone who is celebrating it. or Mubarak, sorry, mispronounced it there. But yeah, honestly, with the Powerpuff Girls one, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like, for now, we have the Foster's preschool series, so maybe after that, then we'll be hearing more about the Powerpuff Girls reboot. Anyways, there are so many announcements that wouldn't fit in this chat wall. That regular show spinoff and that Adventure Time movie does sound like a good idea from Cartoon Network's side. Hearing good word about the wild robot, but the most exciting reveal was definitely the day the Earth blew up. That animation looks spectacular and the voice acting is great. Please, people, don't sleep on this. I know this will be amazing based on reports on the festival. All right, let's see what other comments do we have. Not meaning to sound negative, but I do think it's a little repetitive that Cartoon Network's new plan is just to revive shows from the 2010s. But I would lie that none of them didn't caught my attention. Like Looney Tunes, Batman, and other DC products were expected, but also the most excited for. Others like Gumball, Scooby-Doo, and a few others do seem anticipating to see what they could be. And for the movies, do bring some excitement. I can't wait for them. All right, let's see what we got here. This is a great week for animation. Inside Out 2 dominating the box office and The Day the Earth Blew Up having its first showing. So glad that movie was not written off as a tax write-off. I can't wait to see the new Scooby-Doo series as a Scooby-Doo fan myself. Also, have you heard Lionsgate picked up the distribution rights for Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis? Yes, we actually just talked about that. And
yeah, we talked about that during a break.
Yeah, and that's going to be coming out this September, so we'll see what happens, and we will see if that same madness that we've heard from cons is going to be in there. I want to know if we're going to have an actor in each cinema to do that little thing. We'll see how that goes. Let's see now. I think we'll read one more comment and then we can cap this one off. I'm really happy with these announcements at Annecy. For me, I'm really excited for the continuation of the amazing world of Gumball, seeing regular show come back, and especially the Adventure Time movie. I can understand why they want to continue Adventure Time considering it's the show that started Cartoon Network's comeback in the 2010s. However, considering this is WB, I'm just hoping that David Zaslav won't be Satan and just scrap these projects altogether. Yeah, we can only just hope. What can I say? But anyways, that should do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Man, this was a pretty wild 300th episode, I must say, but I'm glad we managed to go through this adventure. And Paleo, once again, thank you so much for coming in at the last minute on this. And if people want to go and follow you, where can they find you on the internet?
I am on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky. I'm going to be doing some streaming actually later tonight. Gonna do Monster Hunter World and also watching the Nintendo Direct in the morning. So follow me for that. And then, yeah, I might be doing some other video stuff later this month. I'm trying to get back in the saddle of making things. It got me, the Adventure Time stuff got me excited. So I want to start talking about like cartoons again.
Awesome. Hey, great to see you come back into that. And I'll be saving my thoughts on Nintendo Direct for next week. And if you guys would like to go and follow more crazy adventures of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, then don't forget to go and subscribe to the AniMat Live Twitch channel and the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel. On top of that, don't forget to go and follow me on whatever podcast service you're listening to, whether it be on Spotify, Google, or iTunes. Thank you all so much for joining me on this 300th adventure and on to 300 more possibly. And with all that said and done, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.
Bye.